Joining us now in the studio is Dr. Mordechai Kedar to analyze how all the mixed feelings in Israel will have an impact on the Israeli-Turkish reconciliation agreement. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
So, will the fact that there are so many senior Israeli officials opposing this deal impact whether or not it actually goes through?
Well, I believe that Netanyahu has his majority in the cabinet to pass it, and mainly because of the benefits which Israel harvests from this agreement, which is reconciliation and return to 6 years ago, in spite of the fact that Israel does not remove the blockade on Gaza. And this was something which Israel never agreed, and the Turks, of course, demanded that Israel removes this blockade, and they gave up. And this is the most important point in this agreement. And there is a price for this, mainly the fact that Turkey does not commit itself to bring back the two soldiers, the two dead soldiers in Gaza and the two living people who are probably there as well.
So that's what I wanted to talk about for a second. Obviously this is a big win for Israel, the fact that they were able to get this deal signed without having to move on the blockade. But, is there any way that Israel could have actually further ensured that Hamas would return the bodies and the two Israelis that are currently being held by Hamas in Gaza?
Well, I think that the fact that Israelis think that Turkey can bring those people back is some kind of sticking their heads into the sand. Because we, Israel, have much bigger leverage on Hamas. The food which we give Gaza every single day, hundreds of trucks which go to Gaza, and the fuel which we give Gaza, and the cement and all these construction materials which we give to Gaza, we could stop them if we really wanted those boys and people back. But to say that Turkey can bring them back while we supply Gaza with all these things without any questioning, why do we give them all these things without demanding the boys back? It's some kind of ignoring the situation. However,
but you do have people who are protesting, the families of Lieutenant Oron Shaul, for example. Is this going to still, knowing what you're saying, is it still going to affect the morale of, families that have kids that are in the IDF serving right now?
Not at all. Not at all. And the melodrama which people are making out of it is way too exaggerated. A country, a state, has to function according to its interests. The global interests, the regional interests, the state interests. A country cannot stop its policies only because one soldier, and I'm with the soldier. I myself, I'm still a soldier in reserve. Yet, a country cannot mortgage its foreign relations for one man, as important as he can be as a soldier. So, the soldier is one thing which has to be dealt with in a very, very genuine way in order to get those kids, dead or alive, back, definitely. Yet, Israel has to go forward with its relations with Turkey, with other countries, and the accounts are too big to be halted only in order to get 2 or 4 people back. This is a problem, but one should not have to do with the other. Of course, Israel could maintain pressure on Hamas by, for example, stopping the food to Gaza for a couple of days, to hint to the Hamas regime there that there is a price for holding. Why doesn't Israel do this? And this is the problem. What we expect the Turks will do the job for us when we can do it by ourselves. However, I must tell you, this agreement which Israel succeeded to have is mainly due to 3 elements. The first is that Israel broadcasted the idea that Israel does not need any agreement with Turkey. We can live with this forever. So the Turks didn't feel that Israel is urging to have an agreement. So the price which Israel had to pay for the agreement is not such a high price. Second thing is that Israel is in no hurry to get the agreement. We have time. It can be a year, 2, 3, 5. Let the time pass. So the Turks understood that they cannot squeeze us in order to get a good agreement. And the third thing is that Israel, the Israeli officials who took part in these negotiations, they never said what we are willing or ready to give up on in the media. So, and this, unlike what happens with the Palestinians, that every Israeli official speaks day and night in the media what we should give up on in order to, and we want peace now, and all these things. And all these talking in the media about these negotiations actually rises the price which Israel is required to pay to a stage and to a height which Israel cannot pay anymore such a high price, only because Israelis keep talking about what we are willing to give up on and all these things.
So,
in this case, they kept their peace, and this is why Israel succeeded to arrive to this agreement, which is way much better than what Israel expected 5 or 4 years ago.
well, we can only hope that there's going to be more positive regional cooperation when it comes to security measures between Turkey and Israel. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Pleasure.
And we hope to have you again soon.